Okay, we're going to go ahead and talk about chapter 7. It's going to be structural framing. Um, the skeleton of a building is its structural framing. So, together elements such as columns, beams, bracing, and trusses give buildings the stability they need. While the basic process of adding these elements to a project is quite simple, you also need to complete more complex tasks, such as manipulating connections by setting bearing offsets, cantilevers, cutbacks, and justifications, applying beam coping, and editing beam joins. So what we want to try to focus on for this chapter would be something like sketching individual beams for girder connection, columns, and structural walls. And next, we'd be want to focus on creating beam systems or multiple similar sized beams spaced at equal intervals to speed up adding joist. And third, add bracing to support the integrity of other framing members. Fourth, make changes to framing members so that the connections fit the exact situation. And last, add trusses to support long spans of open space. All right. So this is in 7.1 in your book, if you have it, the Revit Structural Fundamentals, 2019 Revit. Okay, the Autodesk Revit software typically enables you to frame a building with wood, concrete, and steel framing and bracing, such as steel. All right, so you can add individual beams as well as beam systems and bracing elements. So framing types include concrete, light gauge steel, precast concrete, steel, and wood. So in views, we can set our detail level to coarse. The software assigns line weights to structural members based on their structural usage. So for example, a girder displays in a heavier line weight than a joist would, while a purlin displays with a dash line. And kind of give you an idea what that looks like. If I'm come up here, draw myself out a beam and give itself a designation of what its usage is going to be. Here's girder. I'm just going to draw from here to here, just so you can see it. And then I'm going to place another one in, and I'm going to choose joist. See, that one came in thinner. Then I'm going to choose purlin, and you'll see that that comes in a dash line. That's probably too short for you to see. Here we go. There you go. All right. So you got a girder, a joist, and a purlin. Okay. So how to add a beam is pretty straightforward. You can just go up to the structure tab, go to beam, and then in the type selector, you can select what type of beam you're interested in using. It'll be whatever's loaded in your library. Then once you've picked what you want, then you can go ahead and choose your placement plane. This is the first floor, and sometimes obviously you're going to probably be on the second floor and above, putting in beams. Okay. And then the structural usage was exactly what you saw. So you can choose automatic if you like. 3D snapping is select this if you want to draw a beam from one point to another at different heights. Okay, so that's going to be like if I'm in 3D and I'm trying to get from down here or up here. Okay. All right, so the chain, if you select this, if you want to draw a series of beams in a row. So to stay in the command and start another chain, just press escape to get out of it, okay? For automatic tagging, you go ahead and choose that guy right there, and it'll tag them as you place them. All right, and so now you can use these draw elements right here to draw the shape that you need, whether it's going to be a curve or you can use a spline. You can do pick lines here and a bunch of other ones that you're used to as well. Okay, then there's a way of doing multiple ones here on grids. So you basically start the beam command out, all right, so structure, beam, and then and you would go ahead and pick this on grids, okay? Then, well, in order to place these, you should think about is that the columns must be placed to support the beams for this to actually work. And then you're going to be drawing your window from bottom up, okay? So wherever there is a column is where it'll actually break those beams out for you, okay? So you'd select the grids where you want to locate the beams. A beam is placed between each grid intersection, as I'm going to show you here in just a second. To select more than one grid, or use a pick and drag window to select multiple grids at one time, okay? So I basically could do it like this, and it's going to go ahead and drop all those in there. Apparently I picked Perlin as my type here. So like here I got Perlin. Let's go with girder and, oops, sorry, on grids and drag across the intersections. And what happened? It did Perlin again. Girder on grids, drag. Huh. Okay, so let's get out of that command. Go beam. And let's set this to girder. Say on grids. Drag the window. And did it again. So let's go to beams. And we'll set this guy to automatic on grids. And it wants to remember the last beam that I drew in here and what it was. So let's say automatic on here and see if it will give me, okay, there we go. Let me delete that guy. Now I've kind of reset its interface, hopefully. There it goes. All right. So you can see that these guys here that I put in, I didn't finish the command, sorry. Beams on grids. Let's see here. Let's grab just these ones right here. All right, so there's beams in there. Finish it up. All right, now you can see that I put some in here, and I might need to go through and do a little bit of cleanup and delete some stuff out that I did not need. All right, if I go to Find View, I can see what these things look like and go into 3D, and I can see that I've placed some in here for real. Okay, all right. So if you want to modify these, obviously you can modify them by changing out their type. If you need to do that, that's obviously there for you to do. I can select all of the instances in this view of that family type and switch them out to what they're supposed to be, if they were supposed to be these wide flanges. Okay. All right, and then if I need to get rid of them, I can window over, hit my filter, check none, and then get my structural framing girders and hit OK and hit delete, and those guys are gone. Okay, so beam systems are basically the next thing I want to talk about, and I'll get that in the next video. Okay, let me go ahead and stop here.